From the nation's capital, Monrovia, good evening and welcome to Channel 6 News on Sky Television. I am Princess Howard Gould. We now begin with this development. The Liberia Electricity Corporation has broken grounds for a $31.8 million United States dollars electricity expansion project to connect over 45,000 homes along the ELWA-RIA corridor. Under the Liberia Energy Efficiency Access Project, LEC will also construct 2 substations in Shuffling and Habel, Margibi County. According to the project coordinator, Henry Kimber, the project will improve the living standard of beneficiaries and provide street lights for the RIA highway. He spoke Wednesday during the groundbreaking ceremony in Shuffling Town, Margibi County.
This project is funded out of several financing instruments. And like I said earlier, the EU being one of them, they're all given under the African Development Bank. It is an electricity project and is going to expand our national grid. It comes from the Peensville substation and it goes all the way to Owens Grove. So initially, back in 2013, when it was being designed, we had estimated then that about 14,000 customers will be connected. In recent times, that has changed. We're looking at a minimum of 45,000 customers being connected. So that's our challenge, and we're going to work up to that. So again, let me first, before I go any further, I want to special gratitude to all the financing instruments, the African Development Fund, the EU, the GEF, etc., who have contributed toward this project. Now, I must tell the Liberian people, this is a combination of loan and grant. So it's not all free. So oftentimes when we do these donor-funded projects, we go in the communities and people quick to tell us, oh, that's the World Bank project, that's the EU project. So that means, insinuating that it's free. It is not free. We will come to that later on and we'll tell you your responsibility as a citizen. But let me just tell you all about the project. So we're going to start connecting communities along this corridor. When I say connecting communities, people, residents in your various homes or places, you can switch on your light at the end of this project and you will be able to receive electricity. Before that happens, there are other things that need to happen also. So we need to, where you're sitting today, this is historic because right where you're sitting today, we're going to build a substation right here. We're going to build a major substation. In order for us to distribute electricity, we need to have that infrastructure in place. So many thanks to the Ministry of National Defense for being gracious enough to give us this piece of land to construct the substation. I'm not sure if they're here, but the Liberian Airport Authority was gracious enough to give us another piece of land in RIA Habel to construct another substation. So in order for you to get electricity, these are the things that have to happen. Additionally, we need to run what you call the high tension line. We're going to run the transmission lines from the PNC substation all the way to RIA. So doing that, we would need the cooperation of the residents, we need the cooperation of the government, we need the cooperation of even LEC. We need to do things a little different at LEC to make sure that this project is delivered and delivered on time.
Meanwhile, some of the partners funding the projects have called on community dwellers to take charge of the project. The EU head of delegation to Liberia, Theodoros Kaspers, and African Development Bank country manager, Orison Amo, in separate remarks, stressed the importance of community ownership and called on them to restrict electricity theft. But first is Theodoros, followed by Orison.
You have already heard some of the technical issues from speakers before, but I would like to highlight 1 or 2 issues they stressed as well. First of all, this is not an AFDB or an EU project. This is a Liberian project. It's in the hands of the LEC and the communities which are going to benefit from it. It is important to stress that the EU at the moment is doing a massive contribution within the electricity sector in Liberia. and we need to turn this into a success. And things like electricity theft or theft of materials is damaging and jeopardizing this success. And we need to show to our taxpayers in Europe that indeed it's worthwhile to keep on investing in Liberia. We are investing about 10 million euro as grant money into this program. We're doing that not only in this program, but in many other programs as well. Finally, let me say that it is always a challenge to find a good name or an acronym for a project. This one is called LEAP, and I think it's very appropriate. It allows the communities along this corridor to leap forward in their development. Please make sure that indeed you leap together with the LEC and the other authorities, and make sure that indeed the development which this project can bring are being fully exploited.
And we heard from the EU representative. This is a Liberian project. It's not a project of any development partner. So we would want to see greater ownership, not only from government, but particularly from the LEC. I would like to speak to 4 main stakeholders this morning. First of all, speaking to the LEC. We all know that this project has delayed significantly, and we are happy that today we are breaking ground, and we want to urge you to do all within your powers to make sure that we stick to the timeline that you have promised us this morning. To the financiers, which include myself, I want us to bring in a bit of flexibility to be sure that whatever is required, we are able to meet the needs of the contractors, the suppliers, so that this project will be delivered on time. To the contractors, our experience from ongoing projects, sometimes we face challenges which could have been avoided. So I want to speak to the contractors, please do your best to ensure that we deliver project activities on schedule.
Also speaking were lawmakers representing Margibi County District 1 and 2, Tibarosa Taponwe and Eva Jones, who assured proper maintenance of the project. For his part, Montserrat County District 6 Representative Reverend Samuel Ennis highlighted the significance of electricity to every communities along the RIA highway. But first is Representative Samuel Ennis, followed by Representative Taponwe and Eva Jones.
With light, our children can study. With light, our women can cook. Even though it has been difficult, but they continue to stand firm. Today, I want to tell the people of District Number 6, the people of Liberia, that your prayers has been answered. God has worked things out. Our partners can look up to us. I want LEC to be aware that we, the community, want to support LEC. But we want you to be able to answer our call when the need exists. We want you to be able to come when that light pole has fallen and is still falling for more than 1 year. We want you to be able to do things that is needed to save our people's life. Our poles are on fire. There are poles that are leaning. As someone who is a co-chair on state-owned enterprise, I've been to LEC more than 50 times. More than 50 times. And I think in as much as we want to support LEC, we do not encourage power theft. We want to encourage you. We want to support you. We want to do all we can. But we want you to know, at this point in time, we have to work together.
You know, electricity is everything. Security, economic development. We can go on and on. This is why we are here. That's why what I did was to invite most of our local leaders, the superintendent, Post Office District, the chiefs, commissioners, majors. They have to be here because they have to form part of the discussion so that after here, when this work is started, we cannot serve as an obstacle for our own good. Who will do our part? to make sure that this work, this life-saving work, will go on unimpeded. I say this to say that we've done it elsewhere. Firestone had complained recently in the area that we represent about theft of the rubber. What we did was to engage the community. Law enforcement is good, but the communities must be involved. And so we are experiencing a decline in that particular area. We hope this can apply here too.
Today is a dream come true for the people of Margibi County, because over 25 or 29 years ago, when the last scoring that was supplied to the RIA went up, and since then, there has been an economic breathing on the only international airport that we have. We believe with the extension of electrification through this corridor, it will definitely bring an economic relief not only to the people of Margibi County, but also to the only international airport that we have in our country. We also want to see that the extension of this scoring will also help to improve economic activities, especially within this route. Today, if you look at the corridor from ELW Junction as far as Orange Grove, the entire population of Monrovia is moving in this direction, but there are less economic activities within this area. So on this note, we want to say a very big thanks to our partners, the African Bank in particular, for this dream come true.
Well, this is a reminder that you're watching Channel 6 News on Sky Television. We now bring you more developments. The Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia has finally joined the upcoming June 7 Save the State protest that is expected to take place in Liberia. Speaking to journalists Wednesday at their headquarters in Painesville, the EFFL said their move to join the protest with the Council of Patriots is not intended to compromise their integrity, but to help transform the Liberian society. According to the EFFL Commander-in-Chief Emmanuel Gonkwe, the EFFL will go all out to explain the importance of the coming mass protests across the 15 political subdivisions in order to show the will of the people.
Weeks ago, we came here to our office, and members of the CRC, which represent the Central Revolutionary Council, took a unanimous decision not to support the pending June 7 protests. But as a leader, knowing the fundamental reason why the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia was established, we decided to take seize of the matter, to revert to consultation, and have meetings with diplomatic corps, and have discussions with international organizations, including the International Justice Group and all of friendly government institutions that are here in our country. We came up after our many consultations with a conclusion that we will only participate in the pending June 7 protests based on the following condition. The one, we will not prematurely alter the democracy of our country, that we will do nothing to subvert the gains we have made in terms of maintaining the peace of our country, because doing so will only injure the very poor people that we are speaking for. The organizers of the protests, in yesterday's official position statement, they agree with us and agree with some of the concerns that we have raised, that this protest will not be about subverting the peace we have gained or prematurely altering the democracy. Therefore, the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia, we just inform the general public and the international body that as of today, we will do everything in the trenches, we will do everything across Maserado to raise the expected numbers that will show to the world that Liberia is on a path of bad governance, and that there is a need for us to show to our friendly governments and international organizations that we are prepared to change the status quo. Beginning tomorrow morning, the EFFL will begin a massive mobilization leading towards a successful June 7 protest. We are mandating leaders of the uncompromising EFFL to begin flooding the social media today that June 7 protest will be historical, that June 7 protest will send a clear message to the world that Liberia is in the hands of a group of people who don't mean well for that country. And that's why even the United Nations is taking issue with them. But we will rescue our country June 7, not to alter, I repeat, not to prematurely alter the democracy or to prematurely alter the peace process, but we will send a clear message that we are tired of what is happening in our country and we need a solution. And that solution will be embedded in the thousand or the multitude of people that will turn out June 7.
Meanwhile, the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia has vowed to expose corrupt officials who are among the planners of the June 7 Save the State peaceful protest. Emmanuel Gongwa also used the occasion to describe his critics who have accused him of taking $8,000 United States dollars in a sponsored trip to South Africa from Lima Bowie as people who need medical attention because of their limitations.
The fact that we have endorsed the protest, that we will be working seriously to mobilize the people to turn out, they can be assured of our MISA, that we will direct some of our MISA to them. Because a few years ago, they were in government celebrating the looting of our state. They were in government when we criticized some of the decisions taken by previous government. They were calling us hooligans. How come today that some of them are beginning now to talk about protests when in the past protests were never accepted by them? So they can be assured that in a march that we are going to work together in ensuring a massive turnout come June 7. We will not hesitate to expose them and to take fundamental issue with them and to criticize them for their previous history. They can be assured of that. People sat down by themselves a few days ago, created a myth that I, Emmanuel Gongwa, leader of the Economic Freedom Fighter, took $8,000 US from Lehman Bowie to compromise the interests of the people, and that I was on my way to South Africa. I don't know, when I previously visited South Africa, it was Lehman Bowie who gave me money. It is unfortunate that we have a group of people in our country who have been on character's assassination, but we will not dignify them. The reason why we will not dignify even those who speculated that we receive money is because some of them have medical deficiency and they only need to go to hospital. And the EFFL will not hesitate to help them to take them to hospital. Because for a rational being to even insinuate that a man who during Mr. Salih regime refused opportunity from Mr. Salih, refused opportunity from government official, refused bribery, stood up for the country, even the car I'm riding was not worth $8,000. And people will conclude that I took $8,000 to compromise the interests of the people. Can $8,000 satisfy the CRC members? How many person in the CRC that would divide $8,000? But you see, because the government is not providing medical care to our people, most of our people are beginning to suffer from medical deficiency. So we will blame that propaganda on the fact that our hospitals are going through challenges. So we will not dignify nor to call their names, but we will help them. If the need be, if they can bring themselves over, we will only help them to take them to hospital for that allegation.
The Council of Patriots has announced that it has written the Ministry of Justice informing governments of their planned protests in the country. Speaking ahead of the planned June 7 protests, the group clarified that their intent is to pressure government and raised concern about the hardship Liberians are going through under the Weah-led government, and not for the president to step down as it has been misinterpreted by some Liberians or members of the public. The spokesperson of the group, Ibrahim Daros Delon, has been speaking to journalists.
We would first like to inform you that as of last week, we have written the government of Liberia through the office of the Minister of Justice, Councillor Frank Musa Dean, informing the government through him of our plans to peacefully assemble and petition the leadership of our country as guaranteed by Article 17 of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia, mandating, quote, all persons at all times in an orderly and peaceable manner shall have the right to assemble and consult upon the common good, to instruct their representatives, to petition the government or other functionaries for the redress of grievances, unquote. In our letter to the Minister of Justice, we simply ask for the provision of security for the protesters and gave him an abbreviated rollout of our plans. Fellow Liberians, distinguished colleagues of the Fourth Estate, it is also important to announce that we have written several stakeholders, including but not limited to the United Nations through the resident coordinator, the ECOWAS Special Representative to Liberia, the ambassadors of the United States of America, Great Britain, Sweden, and the European Union. We did so as a matter of courtesy and to inform them that our plans to protest is to present our petition to the leadership of our dear country. Mobilization teams have been deployed throughout the country to get our people ready for the non-violent protest. Over the last several weeks, we have trained our teams to be professional and non-confrontational when interacting with the communities. We have also admonished supporters who are already in the communities to remain within the ambit of the laws and to avoid persons that want to pose disruptions to mobilization efforts.
Well, viewers, that's all we have time for today on Channel 6 News Sky Television. We say many thanks to you for watching, and many thanks to all of our reporters and technical staff. Princess Howard Good is my name. To have yourselves a splendid night.
Sing your song, sweet music man. 'Cause I won't be there to hold your hand like I used to. I'm through with you. You're a hell of a singer and a powerful man, but you surround yourself with people who demand so little of you.